How does a dismissive avoidant or a fearful avoidant heal? We're healing our own attachment. We're probably anxiously attached, and we are on a growth journey, but what do we do then with our dismissive partner that seems to be holding themselves and us back? Let's understand one thing for sure is if we're anxiously attached, we have a model of, as children, that information is useful. We learned how to preempt, predict, redirect, anticipate other people's needs. The information we receive when we meet a new person or a person we know according to their needs, we receive it for our own benefit. So information is useful. We're able to take things like therapy and apply it because we believe in that process. The problem is for an avoidant, especially a dismissive leaning one or a pure dismissive avoidant, that didn't exist for them as children. They were extraordinarily autonomous and independent. No amount of exchange of information was helpful for them. They tried to predict, anticipate, and preempt and redirect. It didn't work. Their carers were just too toxic. So in the end, they just became all about themselves and never actually extended that capacity for understanding someone else's needs or how information could be useful to them. So they don't seek out therapy. They only believe the answer for them is coming to terms with the fact that they are defective, and that's just the way it'll always be. Now, how do we overcome that then? Is there a way potentially to get this dismissive person to believe it's possible to heal? Yes, there is, 100%. And the problem recently, or at least historically, has been that many of the therapies that we try to use for everyone across the board don't work for avoidance, because their level of emotional vulnerability is very low. They never extended that as children as well. They didn't use social interaction. So for them, becoming extraordinarily unemotionally attached and only taking care of themselves was the way things were. So their ceiling as far as emotional vulnerability is concerned is quite low compared with ours, which means when we engage in things like inner child work and integration and working with therapists to deal with our past traumas, we can kind of push our emotional limit quite high and engage and fully release these held emotions from the past, whereas in avoidance, crash. Their nervous system shuts down as soon as they go beyond their capacity. We can go into the reasons why in another video, which I'll do. But bottom line is, as soon as they try to engage in this emotional turmoil from their past, they're just out for the counter. They've got no emotional regulation going on whatsoever. They're not even present anymore. That can change. We're understanding now recently that nervous system regulation comes first for avoidance. That's the first thing they have to do. Not the same for us. Many of the other things that we can do are the same for them, but the first thing they must do is regulate. Now, once we learn how to do that, and there's certain somatic exercises, there's certain therapists who are becoming extraordinarily good at dealing with people who have this issue with emotional vulnerability cap, where it just caps out and they can't do anything beyond it. How do we get our avoidant, nonetheless, to walk towards that and say, I want that? Or do we throw videos at them? Do we come up with clever ways of introducing it into conversations? No, we don't. Because for them, one, it doesn't matter. It's information, right? We've already covered how information doesn't help them. They've come to terms with the fact that they are broken and nothing will ever change. In fact, they project that onto the world and say, no one ever changes. As far as they're concerned, no one they've ever been attached to or connected with has ever grown or healed. They've just not witnessed that happen. So what do? We lead by example. We heal our attachment wounds and we become secure. So it always comes back to us. What am I going to do for myself? Not so much as what do I want my avoidant partner to do. We always are best to consider our own emotional needs first. Because if we're outsourcing responsibility to anyone else, in the end, they can just drop whatever it is they're supporting in us to the floor. And where does that leave us? Let's deal with our own attachment style first. And by extension, it will give an example to the avoidant partner that then understand that potentially what they have come to terms with their entire life, that it's not possible, is now being challenged. by example. They've seen you become self-assured, self-confident, self-reliant, and they're wondering how the hell you did it. Law of attraction. It starts a conversation. Well, I can tell you if you like. It's up to you. We can, watch a few videos if you like. How does that sound? Is that all right with you? We've actually been inviting them to have this conversation by showing them that there's an opportunity for growth. There's two things that'll happen with an avoidant. One, they'll engage. One, they'll walk towards you and say, yes, I want this. Or two, it'll be too affronting, too challenging, too much. And they'll refuse to and become an anchor. This is your filter as a partner of an avoidant. Heal yourself first. Be the example. And then watch and see what your avoidant partner does. If they're of a growth mindset and they will grow with you and you wake up with a new person every day, it'll be exciting, it'll be a journey, an adventure, then fantastic. But if your avoidant partner refuses and holds you back, there's a time to make a tough decision, because no one should be held back by anyone. So I'm hoping and wishing the best for everyone who's connected to a dismissive avoidant or a fearful avoidant. It all starts with you. Heal your attachment style. Reach out. You're my people. I was you. I know how it feels. And I have got a series and a range of courses available for all of you, anxious preoccupieds, fearful avoidance, of both dismissive and anxious leanings, and dismissive avoidance too. I deal with you all, and let's have a conversation about what would be best for you and what you want to achieve in life.